In this video, I will explain the 3 pillars of Scrum with real-life examples which you can use to help serve your team as a Scrum Master starting today. First, let's talk about Scrum. I won't go into the boring textbook definition of Scrum. Let's simplify it. Scrum breaks down the development of any product, any service in smaller pieces. These pieces are then prioritized and addressed in a series of work sprints, which usually last 1 to 2 weeks. The output of these sprints are an increment, a working increment of a product or service. This increment is then demonstrated, shared with all the stakeholders, managers, sponsors of a project, everyone involved in the project to collect feedback. And feedback is extremely important. Priorities, the process, the product is constantly being reviewed and improved throughout the journey of a project. In this way, the Scrum team can always respond to external changes from customers, from the market, and shift the development process. As a result, the final product being developed has to be well received from the market, from the customers, because we are always collecting their feedback and improving on their feedback with each increment of a product. Now, the Scrum framework is based on the empirical process, which revolves around the idea that we can find out the truth through experiment with concrete and observable results. In short, Scrum works with evidence, facts, and experience instead of abstract concepts and plans. The focus is on observable reality of a product development process. Instead of being focused, fixated on a fixed and rigid plan for a product, for a project, a fixed vision, we don't really care about that in Scrum. What we care about is the customer. So we experiment with this plan, with this product, with the features, and we see what really sells on the market, sells with the customer. And we make changes. We keep improving the product. We made several increments of a product, versions of a product, updates of a product, until we have a final version, which is exactly what the customer and the market wants. Do you see how it's different from a waterfall project management model focused on following a plan? Scrum doesn't care about plan. What it cares about is the market, is the customer, is the product. Observe reality and make changes based on facts, evidence, experience, and as a result, team morale up, engagement up, people are more motivated. More motivated people build better quality and value products, better user experience, better customer satisfaction, because we are asking them exactly what they want and we are giving it to them with increments, with improvement, continuous improvement. And Scrum, to do that, Scrum is based on 3 pillars: transparency, inspection, and adaptation. Are you a member of a gym? Do you work out? If you don't work out, you should. So when you join a gym, one of the very first things that they do, well, at least in the popular, high-quality gyms, is weigh you, measure you. And then they build a plan based on your goals, on what you want to achieve. Do you want more muscles? Do you want to lose weight? They build a plan in terms of workouts, in terms of a diet. 1 month later, they review what your weight measures, and based on that they refine the plan, they refine the diet, the workout, and it keeps going and going until you achieve your goal. Incremental and continuous changes and improvement based on facts, evidence, experience. They started with a plan, they started with a diet, a workout that works for most people, but they customized it for you. And based on your results, they improved it and kept improving it until you reach your goals. Nothing is rigid, nothing is fixed, always improving. That's what Scrum is all about. That's what the 3 pillars are all about. Let's go deeper into these pillars. First, transparency simply means that everyone involved in the product, in the project, is aware of what's going on. When I say everyone, I mean the development team, the product owner, the Scrum Master, the clients, stakeholders, managers, senior people, sponsors, everyone involved in the project or the product. And these people, everyone needs to be transparent in their day-to-day dealings with each other. They need to trust each other, and they need to have the courage to share good news, but also bad news. Here's how transparency looks like in practice. Everyone involved in the product, they need to really understand their role, their responsibilities, their duties with regards to the product, with regards to the team, with regards to the project. The definition of done needs to be agreed upon. What does done really mean? When the development team has completed, what does done really mean? What's the goal of each sprint? What's the goal of a product? A clear vision, a clear product backlog, a clear sprint backlog, understandable by tech and non-tech people. Work should be visible. Who is working on what? Maybe you can use a Kanban board to display this information. The Scrum events need to be followed. The daily Scrum every single day. The sprint review, the sprint planning, the sprint retrospective. All these things, all this information needs to be visible and transparent to everyone involved in the project. People need to trust each other and trust each other that they will be using this information in the right way and that they can be transparent with each other. And this trust, this transparency helps people collaborate easier in a team. Everyone can see who is working on what. And when you're working on a focused single objective, you need collaboration. You need to work as a team. And this is exactly what transparency allows us to do. The next is inspection. Every single sprint inspection is done. We inspect the product. We inspect the process. That's why transparency is important. It's important and it's the first pillar, because the second pillar uses transparency, because we use everything that is visible to inspect. And inspection is done by everyone involved in the product. Again, they inspect the process. They inspect the product, the people involved, the tools, the artifacts, the Scrum artifacts. One of the clear examples of inspection is during the sprint review. The first thing we do in the sprint review is being transparent. First pillar, transparency. We demonstrate what the team has completed, the working increment that they've done during the sprint. We demonstrate it. We are transparent with everyone involved in the product. And everyone inspects what we demonstrated. To provide feedback. And the team doesn't complain when they get feedback. It's simply feedback from a stakeholder, from anyone involved. They collect this feedback, they process this feedback, and then they go into a third pillar, adaptation. Adaptation is all about continuous improvement, the ability to adapt after an inspection. When someone provides a feedback, when someone has inspected something and gave information with regards to the product, with regards to the process tools, maybe this feedback is relevant. Maybe we need to build a new hypothesis. Maybe we need to experiment with something new. We need to adapt the product, adapt the tools, adapt how we collaborate with each other. This is what adaptation is all about. So we need to be transparent first. Then we inspect the work, inspect the product, because it's transparent, it's visible, and we use this inspection to get feedback, and then we use this feedback to adapt the product, to adapt the process, the tools. And this is done continuously in the sprint, in the daily Scrum, every single day, every morning. We make the work transparent, visible to everyone. Then we inspect the work, and then we adapt if needed, if required. In the sprint retrospective, we talk about issues, improvement items. Then the team builds a plan to adapt to all the information that we gathered. We build up a new hypothesis. We experiment with stuff. Adaptation is all about experimentation. You see the difference here between this Scrum and the waterfall model? Focused on following a plan, focused on a rigid vision and product. Scrum is all about transparency, inspection, and adaptation. Evidence, facts, experience, and we use this adaptation because we don't know what the customer wants. We experiment with stuff. We build hypothesis, and then we experiment with it. And if the experiment went well, that's all good. We collect the feedback, we adapt, we make something better. If it didn't go well, it's a learning experience. We collect the feedback, we inspect it, we adapt, and we then do something even better. Continuous improvement. Which brings me to my next point. If you want more tips and insights on Agile Scrum personal growth, click on the video that stands out the most on the screen right now, and I'll see you in a few seconds.